Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to Fat Mascara, a podcast about beauty culture. I'm Jen.
Hi, Jen. Hi, everyone. Okay, you guys, this is a solo episode, all right?
Don't try to kick me out too soon. I have to remind you.
No, I'm just letting them know because I just want to set expectation. Well, they could probably, I don't know if they read the description. No, I'm not kicking you out. I'm bringing you in.
I'm here in the studio for now. That's right. It is. Jess is going to have a great interview. Before we get to that, quick reminder, if you love Fat Mascara, and we know you do, throw us a review over on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. Helps us become more discoverable.
It does. And we read them.
Of course we do. And you can also comment on each episode, including this episode. Let us know what you think on Spotify. That's always a fun place to connect
and
with
we might read your review.
Fan.
We might read your review. If it's
I'm not going to read any today, though.
Because no, not right now. But if it's inspiring, if it's colorful, maybe if it's funny.
Yeah. Amuse us, everyone.
Okay, so let's talk about who is on the show today. I want to say by popular demand, but
yes.
Because she gets mentioned a lot, and she's very much like in the news right now, like in the ether. She's of the moment. Dianna Cohen of Crown Affair. Crown Affair, quite a buzzy hair brand right now, but they're actually just celebrating their 5-year anniversary. Dianna tapped into something that isn't drugstore. It's not super, super luxe. It is something in the middle. It's this white space that hadn't been addressed before. And because she isn't a hairstylist, I think that a lot of people relate to who she is and what she's looking for.
And you don't have to go to a salon to get it. That's also new, or was sort of new. So yeah, you guys are going to have a great conversation. I'll miss you both.
You're there in spirit.
I'm there in spirit. All right, let's get into it.
Dianna, you've got a big resume. We talked about it a little bit on the intro. We know that you've got a big brand. That's nice. That's well and good. But let's start small. Where are you from?
A very small place, if we're starting small.
Let's go real small.
Really tiny.
Yeah.
I'm from a very small town.
Where do they grow founders?
They grow founders in a tiny little boating town called Lighthouse Point, Florida.
That sounds like Dawson's Creek. This sounds like this sounds very fake.
It's a fake, beautiful place. I grew up, it's honestly people who are from South Florida are like, where?
Yeah.
It's between Fort Lauderdale and Boca on the water.
Lighthouse Creek. This sounds like it was invented
Lighthouse Point. But Lighthouse Creek sounds pretty fabulous too.
Yeah. Okay. And so you were born there?
Born and raised. My parents are New Yorkers. They moved down to Florida in the 80s, and then decided to have children.
So they were before everyone, before the mass exodus.
Correct.
Okay.
By about 35 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And what was that like?
It was, in hindsight, it was so beautiful.
Yeah.
It was an amazing childhood. I mean, right now it's February and you can just wear shorts and a t-shirt and play sports all year round. It was very preppy, not a lot going on when it came to beauty or fashion or design or art, but it was such a good childhood. I'm still best friends with my best friends from kindergarten. So I'm very grateful to have grown up in a tiny town where you just get on your bike and go play outside. And it wasn't until 8th grade and probably when my obsession with the Olsens transitioned, which I feel was their inflection point of going to NYU and being into fashion. I kind of followed a very similar journey. So up until 8th grade, I was just playing sports, running outside, jumping in a swimming pool kind of vibe. And then kind of found my love of all the things that I'm in now around 8th, 9th grade.
And that's fashion, beauty, style.
Fashion, beauty, design, style. I mean, I'm sure many of us pulling out every page of Vogue and the Teen Vogue was my Bible. Basically, I feel I know those pages back and front. And, I was lucky to go to New York in the summers and visit cousins. We'd go for a week or two. And I always loved New York City. But yeah, it was very preppy. I was definitely the kid in high school that was hanging out in the art room.
Mm-hmm,
and it was actually my art teachers, the Scrunchies. They were this very cool couple that had a very, very cool son and daughter who were about a decade.
The Scrunchies, they're jewelry designers.
Yes.
Okay.
They grew up in the same places I did, and we went to the same school.
Okay.
And their parents were my art teachers,
Okay.
Mr. and Mrs.
Things are getting
Cranji.
interesting now. Okay. So what happened?
Yeah. So Bo and Courtney, the cool siblings that you know that are like jewelry designers, CFDA, they lived in New York. They were like fabulous.
Yeah, this is
so
around
cool
that time
to
that
me.
they were, if you were in high school at that point. I'm getting a sense of
Yes.
like how old you are. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yes. So one summer, I was like, I really want to go to New York and do an internship. And Mr. and Mrs. Cranji were like, why don't you intern for Courtney and Bo? Philip Cranji. Yeah. But Bo's a proper name. That's his nickname.
Yeah,
his
Philip
proper name's
Cranji had like very cool kind of like rock and rolly designs.
The coolest, had like a gem box of a store and meat packing. And I mean, Courtney was amazing too. Her and Jenna Lyons started dating around that time. So I kind of was just like plopped even before I went to college, this was my senior year of high school. I like spent a couple weeks working with Zach was the head of production there. And I just did anything and everything, unpaid internship. I remember like dropping samples off. They did a collab with Vera Wang. To me, it was just like the studio was on 28th Street in Chelsea, and Courtney and Philip Cranji just had still have the coolest taste and style. And it was heaven to me, like whatever they needed me to do, whenever. And, they were selling wholesale to like Intermix and like fifth floor of Bergdorf. So like, even if I was just like running an errand, I was like in heaven.
So this is very pre-internet. Like, I mean, the internet existed obviously at this point, but this was pre the sort of ecosystem that Crown Affair lives in right now.
1,000%.
Okay. So,
Tumblr was huge.
Yeah, this is like pre-2010.
Yes, I graduated high school in 2009, so this was 2008.
Yeah, okay. So you graduate high school, you know that this is like where you want to be. You want to be in fashion, you want to be in New York, you are a creative type, but you want to be with other creative types, doing things, getting your hands in the mix, collaborating with other creative people and in fashion. Then you go to NYU. You're living the Mary-Kate, Ashley Olsen dream, right?
Yes.
And what do you study?
Art history and Italian.
And Italian, okay.
So not marketing is what.
Then what happens? The reason why I'm going through like your CV, as they say, is because I'm amazed at how quickly, like, I don't know your age, but like you've built this incredible brand that is now celebrating 5 years. And you're not old.
Oh,
like,
thank you. Sometimes when I go on the internet, I do feel like I am. I was joking actually with Sarah Brown that I feel like I'm like the last of a generation. I'm like the last
what
year
do you
that
mean?
like.
And you mean Sarah Brown, formerly of Violet Grey, former beauty director of Vogue for like eons, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll take through NYU, but I remember transcribing her interview when I interned it into the Gloss, and she was just like goddess to me. So I studied these people. I studied the credits. Like it was still not a digital world when I was falling in love with all of these things. But yeah, I went to NYU. I interned my freshman year with Courtney and Bo again. So it's kind of unhinged. I look back, like most kids go to freshman year of college and they're just like ready to go to orientation. And I was like, put me to work. Like I was there 3 days a week in the office. And
to put a pin in that, we're gonna talk about like freshman. But where do you get like this crazy work ethic?
My dad. I love doing cool things with people. Like for me, this is play and fun. I don't know how to explain it. If there's
I'm making it
anything
sound like
I know
I'm
to
lazy.
be true.
Sorry. The way I said it, people are probably like, we're thinking more about me than you. They're like, what's wrong with Jess? Like, no, but like, I'm like, why do you want to work so hard? No, because there's a lot of questions right now. I think the reason why it's on my mind, Dianna, is I get into a lot of questions lately. It's like in the ether right now.
Yeah.
About what's asked of people, what it takes to like get it done. And you've clearly been born with take it to the wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah. By the way, that is what it takes. I think that I had no delusions about what it takes to do this.
What was your dad saying to you? What's he like? And let's get him on the show.
Yeah, no, let's get him on the show. He's amazing. I feel like everyone likes their parents. So obviously I'm biased, but my parents are 20 years apart. First marriage for both. My dad's an entrepreneur. He has taken 8 companies public. By the way, neither of my parents went to college and my dad didn't even finish high school. He's from South Brooklyn. He's from near Coney Island originally. He's a Brooklyn boy, grew up in poverty essentially. And he's just so smart. I know everyone says that about their dad, so I don't mean to be like lame, but he's very John Nashy with like numbers and creative and is entirely self-made. And ultimately for better, sometimes at worse. He always just like friends would come over growing up and he was just like so sarcastic. There's like a little bit of Larry David in him. He's just like a goofy guy from Brooklyn, but really smart. And my parents never pushed me. Like I was always kind of a B plus student, if I'm being honest with you. Like if there was one thing, I feel like a lot of people's parents are like, be a great athlete, be an amazing student. And I was working hard to do those things, but there was always a value in my household, especially with my dad, around like creative thinking and asking questions and being curious. So if I didn't leave Florida and I did like whatever with my life, my parents would be happy too. Like they didn't come from this world. My dad was more in like biotech and technology. And there wasn't like expectations of me in terms of you got to do all this stuff. But I don't know. It is from him. And just honestly, for him, it was survival. And for me, I obviously have a lot of privilege compared to his experience. But I'm definitely like his child.
All right, let's fast forward. Let's go. I took you off course. Okay, so there you are. It's orientation. You're like, I don't care where the the dining hall is. Tell me about Philip Crangy's next collection or whatever. Okay, you're ready to work.
Ready to work. Did a ton of internships. Also did like it was definitely like the heyday of CFDA. It was the first year of Fashions Night Out.
Oh
TBT,
my God, yeah.
RIP.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone has a Fashion Night Out story. It was just a really exciting time in New York. The early 2010s, I'm sure it was even better before then too. So not to feel like everything kind of went downhill in New York in like 2016, which is perfectly aligned with social media. But those years were just so fun and anything went. I interned at Cocoon. I did 2 semesters at Valentino. It was amazing. Those were the Oscar seasons, it was like Rooney Mara and like Michelle Williams. So like I was the intern. Anywhere I interned, I kind of just, this sounds so nerd. I swear to me, I just became the super intern. Like I remember being at Valentino and setting up a whole CRM system for them for like the stylist, because it was just so archaic. And I think that was kind of a light bulb moment of how do we move these things a little bit forward? It was also a good awakening for me. I'm like, this is so fun, but like, I don't think I want to work in fashion. And timing wise, right? I came into NYU 2009. I graduated 2013. The internet was happening in the way that you were noting it. So like at that point, Emily Weiss, who's a few years older than me, went into the traditional industry, right? She was at Conde, she was at Vogue and W. And then she started this little thing called Into the Gloss that was like literally Bible. And I remember having friends who went to go work at art galleries or Christie's or Sotheby's, or friends who went to go work at Vogue and different places. And I was just like, all I want to do is, I just love the internet. So I kind of took that first step. I sent her and Nick a cold email with a Tumblr called itgassignment.tumblr.com to just like, I know I'm like still young, but I am dating myself. And I was ready to go.
So you started interning there. And from there, I know that you did a lot of other work with like Into the Gloss is at that point, it was not like a DTC company. That wasn't a Glossier moment. But then you started working with companies like Away, right?
Yeah.
You founded your own company, right? Levitate?
Yeah. So I worked with Spring, which was a mobile shopping app back in the day, which had over 300 D2C brands on the platform. But that was where I really started working with engineers. And that became my culture in terms of how to build a business. And yeah, worked with Tamara Mellon, Away.
Right. So did you walk away, like that was really the height of I shouldn't say the height, but the beginning, like the kind of the foundation of DTC culture, especially for millennial brands, consumer brands, beauty brands. What did you take from that time? Everyone walked away from that time, saying everyone, but everyone in like a beauty culture can take something from that time, whether it's packaging design or something about culture, work culture, or finance. There's something to be gleaned from every aspect of that time. I mean, books are written about DTC culture. There was a TV show about it, with Anne Hathaway.
Yeah.
There's so much from that time. What did you take away from it that informs your work today?
Yeah. By the way, David from DS and Durga was like, you're kind of the Forrest Gump of D2C. Like you weren't the prominent figure, but you were just like in the background. Of all these things.
That's hilarious. No, but you were there. So like,
yeah.
What's sort of your
takeaway?
Your takeaway.
One, product market fit. Product is everything, and creating desirable product. I think there were so many brands, and we still joke about this. Like, it was just so easy and cheap to acquire customers online then. It's like they were like force growing this desirability where it's like at the end of the day, you need to make products that people actually want. You can't just like market
Okay,
to them.
you don't have to name names. You don't have to name names, but like what is like a type of product that you're like, okay, we don't need blah blah blah.
Okay, I did not work there and this is savage, but I'm like, do people really want their toes showing through their wool sneakers? Is that what's happening?
They're
now?
what? They're wool sneakers.
Wool sneakers.
I actually don't even know what product.
About?
No, I don't, and that's all right.
I probably shouldn't say, but there's like a sneaker brand that came out of the like Harry's and Warby guys. It's like trying to make fetch happen. I think a lot of this time was like trying to make fetch happen, but also so many learnings. I mean, like operationally, I remember when I joined Away, I was the 8th employee there. I remember joining Away and people had kind of warned me about the leadership, but I was like really excited about the vision and the opportunity for my specific role. There were 2 other brands in the marketplace at the time. One was Raiden. They had that big store where Sea Wonder used to be and is now the Glossier on like Crosby right there. I remember like Raiden was around, and then also a luggage company called Blue Smart. And they had so much inventory when the regulations around not being able to have lithium batteries in your carry-ons happened. I mean, I think everyone has a story of like, how do I get my battery out? And they were not prepared and they just died overnight because they had too much cash in their inventory. So like so much stuff like that, or like partnership strategy. That's the thing. It's like people are like, how do you do this? How do you build a community strategy? How do you build? I'm like, I just did it for 10 years before starting Crown Affair. So like all the partnerships the first year of Away, or building out influencer ambassador for Outdoor Voices, like setting up affiliate links, like building out Slack channels. Like you can't just hire an agency. I'm like not a believer in like hiring an agency to like farm this stuff out. It's like early days of building out the core pillars of marketing and storytelling. It's really important that you have a little bit of a handle on it as a founder.
Okay, you had the education, you were well trained in every single area of, you had like the master's degree in and how to build a DTC brand. How did Crown Affair spring to mind?
Before I think it's important to talk about what I was doing between Away and Crown Affair to kind of lead into what I was doing with Crown Affair. So I had left Away because I was really seeking a different kind of culture and a different type of work style. I think the biggest learning from that decade of D2C is that they were rooted in masculine energy, which is build fast and break things. But the problem...
Even if it was a woman at the top?
Correct.
Okay.
Sometimes even more so.
Okay. I don't know why I'm saying it like I'm surprised. Okay.
Yeah. It's a different thing. But the problem is you're moving fast and breaking things, but those things are people. And I was one of those people, and I was broken.
Okay. Do you think that the move fast, break things, masculine energy thing, do you think it had to actually do with gender, or do you think it was just an attitude?
No, I think men and women all have masculine and feminine energy.
All right. So you're not saying it was like...
No. It wasn't specifically men. It's just like there are 2 types of energy that we all have, masculine and feminine, and the world is structured in like a masculine energy way.
Much,
and
yeah.
I think
I'm aligned.
Yes. Yeah. And I think coming from a place of feminine energy requires extraordinary work in this culture, especially like a capitalist society. So when I left Away,
they don't like that.
No, they don't like that. I was looking to like create my own schedule. I was tired of being in an office 5 days a week, butt in chair 9 a.m., leaving at 8, going to drinks, going to dinner, going to an event. Like I was exhausted. This was all pre-COVID, by the way. So I was just ready to have more work-life balance. And I also wanted to choose who I was working with. So I started my brand agency, Levitate, had a couple clients. It was still the same thing though. But the truth is, this was like 2017, 2018. The writing was on the wall. Being in the trenches, building out influencer, like something's changing in the culture, seeing it change. Like the whole influencer thing was shifting. And also it was getting expensive. Like more and more brands were launching. So totally separately, I'm obsessed with hair care and I'm obsessed with beauty products. That's probably why I loved Into the Gloss so much. And I've always been like a Violet Grey shopper, a Goop shopper, a Moda shopper. Now, like what as these like like
Moda
luxury products.
Moda launched after.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. I know. I mean, I've been a Violet Grey shopper since they opened. And I was honestly just tired of these D2C millennial brand. I just thought that they weren't like luxurious or cool. And then at the same time, I had tried a lot of new hair care brands or like clean hair care, like Rawa and like Playa. It was a little bit of a performance issue. I would always go back to Orbe and Christophe Robin. And I just had this light bulb moment. I sent out a Google Doc. This is when I had Levitate of like, here's the brush you have to get, like Mason Pearson. And the fact that I could look around at my friends and half of them didn't know what a Mason Pearson brush was or like why they should be brushing their hair. Or if they did, they're like, why am I spending 200-ish more dollars on a hairbrush? And I'm like, oh, wow, there's such a disconnect between this thing that I love. Like, I genuinely love it. Like, whether I had Crown Affair or not have Crown Affair or not, like, I'm obsessed with taking care of my hair. I'm working on all these brands and building out all these ecosystems. And I also learned so much to your question earlier of like what not to do. I'm so grateful for that, to like have been alongside a lot of founders. And the way that I describe it when you're an early employee is like, it's kind of the same feeling as like, you think you speak a language. You're like, no, I speak Spanish. I can speak Spanish. And then you get to the country and you're like, oh, I do not speak that. I know how to kind of get around. And once you actually become a founder, you're literally, it's not the same. Like it's not fluency. So yeah, I was working nights and weekends on Crown Affair when I was consulting. And I think my art history background, like people ask me like when I started Crown Affair, like I can go back to my camera roll and I have screenshots from 2014 of like visuals and references that now live in the brand. So it's been this thing that's been growing for a while, and I couldn't keep giving my special to other people, which by the way, I only had that special because I worked for other people. So I always say like work for people. Young girls in their 20s are like, I'm going to do this thing. I'm like, dude, get work for people. It's, I think, super helpful. And I kind of just knew, I'm like, I'm ready to try this.
What was the vision for Crown Affair? I feel like we were burying the lead a little bit. Like, yeah, you love taking care of your hair. You had this Google Doc with all of your favorite things that your good friends didn't know about. But like, what was, in a nutshell, what is Crown Affair?
Crown Affair is an entire universe that gives women or whoever permission to take care of themselves and do it in a way that's beautiful and luxurious. And it is, I think, this new entry point of offering what I loved about like Mason Pearson and Booley and like all these luxury brands and presenting it in a much more contemporary way. And yeah, and contemporary can mean a lot of things. It could mean like a more accessible price point and way to get it. It could be like a more contemporary way to talk about hair, right? Like I'm not a professional stylist and I'm obsessed with that world. And we can talk about like, because, you know, the credits, like studying the credits. I've been going to my stylist for 13 years. She was Guido Palau's first assistant. Like I have extraordinary respect for stylists, but I'm not a stylist and I don't want to blow my hair out and I don't want to put like a root spray in and then have to blow it out. Like I have been obsessed with no makeup hairs. Obviously, I mean, it's what I call it. And it's like that Olsen effortlessness. And by the way, like Mark Townsend, brilliant genius. Like he's obviously doing something to the Olsen's hair. But like for me, it's been about creating products and formulas that my visual literacy, I've always joked, is like Star Wars meets Chanel. And I feel like that's kind of where Crown Affair sits. And you know all my weird references and things that I like Jim Henson. And I just didn't want another salon brand. It was like, I wanted to create something that made our lives easier. And hair care is something you're excited about. And the way that you get excited about like makeup or fragrance or like skincare, like hair has always either felt like really disempowered and like, oh, that's something that the professionals do and my hair gets done. Or if I'm going to be really candid, it's just not exciting, like kind of lame.
Yeah. I find sometimes hair care can be like, I see it on the shelf and like if there was a sound effect or like a visual effect or the hair, it would be like the camera would shoot at the bottle and then it would cut to me, bottle, me. And it's like, am I going to figure out how to use it? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know how to, Jen, like, and I have laughed because it's like, I'm not good at hair. I'm bad at hair. Yeah. And I've been in beauty for 2 decades. We had a shoot once 5 years ago, at least. And they were like, bring your hot tools because there's no hair. And Jen was like so good, but she's got the wand. And I was like,
yeah,
you know, it's hair. I think hair is harder to fake than makeup. That's my personal opinion.
It is the Cinderella of the beauty industry. And it is my life mission to make hair a thing and make hair care cool.
Now, how has it been I think of the different launches in the last 5-6 years that have been really big, or brands have gotten really big. Orbe is longer than 5-6 years ago. I'm going to call it 10 years, made a huge splash. Way made a huge splash. Virtue, huge splash. All of these are Orbe, Jen Atkin, Adir, right?
Yeah.
You are from, where's that little town? You said
Lighthouse
like
Point, Lighthouse Creek, let's call it.
I was going to call it Port Washington, but that's in New York. Okay. Okay. Sunlight Creek. I don't know. I'm joking around. Listen, I'm from a small town in New Jersey. I'm joking around. But you are not a hairstylist. So how has that been when you are in this world? Like, how have you been embraced, or how have you been speaking about hair in this world, or has it not come up at all?
No, I got eyeballs. I remember when I first went, I launched the brand January 28th of 2020, and I started doing like editor desk sides that December of 2019, right before the pandemic. And I think it was confusing. People were like, "You're not going to blow out my hair today?" I'm like, "No, I'm here to like take it back to the beginning." Yeah. I'm like, no, we're going back to step one, the basics of hair care, like brushing your hair. But I have always seen it as an advantage, and I've never pretended to be a hairstylist, obviously. And I also am like, I'm just obsessed with product. And I've always been someone who wants something really nice. So for me and my friend who helped me launch this brand, who's a bioengineer and chemist and got his undergrad through PhD at Cornell and worked in supply chain at McKinsey. So like, we were reversed. To me, it's like the outside perspective is actually what makes you critical. And like, if you come from this industry, or you just go straight to a contract manufacturer and you say, I want a dry shampoo, they're going to give you an aerosol dry shampoo. I want a hair gel, they're going to give you a gel with alcohol in it. And it's like, because I'm from the outside and so extraordinarily critical, I'm like, how do we actually innovate and work with chemists before we go to a CM and treat each product like a hero product? Because like, I actually don't have a reason to launch this. Like, I'm not a celebrity and I don't have a following and I'm not an influencer. So for me, it's like building out the combination of like building out a really strong timeless brand system with extraordinary product that I almost want to like bury the lead that we're a hair care company, which is like a tricky thing. I think it's worked, but it was confused. I think people were confused at first. And I'm like, it's really about taking care of your hair. And like, we'll get into the other stuff over time.
It's hair care. It's not like, I know you have now hairspray, you have gel, but you're starting with hair care. I like to quote you had, it's like an Erewhon, I don't know if this resonates with everyone, but you're like, it's an Erewhon smoothie. You're looking at me funny.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
No, I'm obsessed with yes, no. I think that most of beauty in general, not just hair care, most of beauty is giving you Jamba Juice, and we are giving you the Erewhon smoothie.
You don't have to knock. I left out the Jamba Juice part because I love Jamba Juice. They're dwindling in New York City. You know that, right? They're dwindling.
And for the record, razzmatazz is a favorite, and that's why I'm saying it. No. This is why I actually think it's a good analogy, because it's like it's still a great smoothie. Okay. And by the way, like I don't always want the Erewhon thing. Like sometimes I want the Jamba Juice thing. And I know I really do love that. And like, I've been a fan of other products. I think the beauty of beauty is like you use so many products. There's Orbe products I will never even try to touch. You know what I mean? Because
they do them so well. You mean?
Yes. And by the way, a lot of this stuff is hard to make clean is the other thing, like from a efficacy standpoint. And I don't lead with clean, but to me, it's like as a brand, it kind of doesn't mean anything. But like, I do believe in finding ingredients that are really high quality and working with vendors that source them in a really good way. But that's obviously a whole can of worms. But yeah, like Orbe has amazing products,
Who is a founder that you really admire? Because you've obviously worked in so many founder-driven brands. So you've seen quite a bit.
It's a great question. I have two founders I deeply admire. I will say I do feel like there aren't great examples of work-life balance, feminine energy. I think I just want everyone to like have a life too. Like I love work and I love building things, right? And it's like, I want to build a team that loves building things. I also want a team that's like, I'm going to I need this Tuesday to like spend with my mom, or like, I'm going to take a trip for a week right now to go. Like I'm all about transparency because I didn't grow up with that. So I'm trying to create that now. So I don't really have a lot of North Stars of like, I also do a lot of coaching. I don't know. I'm trying to be the best that I can, but Emily Weiss to me is still deeply inspiring in terms of what she's built as a brand. Cause she's not even really the Glossier girl. You know what I mean? Like she built something that transcends what she did.
You mean that she is not the client, but she is Like what she's built.
I think she's been able to build a brand universe that is totally for her, but also transcends her, which I think is really hard to do. And I think that I've just always admired her ambition.
Do you think it's fair, the flack that she's gotten?
I think it's tough. I think that she came up in a time where she had to become a tech company. And if there's anything we learned from that, it's like product is the king. And it's like she got surrounded by a lot of people who are tech innovators. And if there's anything I learned from working at Spring, which was the mobile shopping app in 2013, it's impossible to get people to download an app. And like you can't force the culture onto a platform. Like we see this with all of the, and I think they try to do that. And it's like, wait, let's actually get back to the core of what this is.
I didn't fully understand until I read the book, which I know it was not an authorized biography, but I didn't understand how much the company, according to the book, was pressured to become a tech company. And that is a little crazy to me.
And I think, you just get so big so quickly. And the truth is it takes time. You can't, that's what I learned. It's like, whether it was Away or Glossier or anyone, it's like, don't take hundreds of millions of dollars, because even if you have all the resources, the one thing you cannot fake is time. It's funny because time is probably my favorite thing to talk about and think about. Yeah. And like Crown Affair is actually anchored around time as the core brand pillar.
I was going to say that's your brand mantra, take your time. You were mentioning another founder who you respected or that you really admire.
The one that is like my soul is Era Katz, who's the co-founder of Seed, the probiotic. She is just one of the most intentional people I've ever met in my entire life. And what she's built with Seed, I think, is really impressive in a category that can be like kind of tricky in terms of supplements. And she's just a remarkable leader and so dialed. And she was my first boss at Spring, and she's now one of my really close friends. But she taught me everything I know is the truth. Like as much as I talk about all these other people I worked for, like Era Katz is the reason that I think the way that I do in terms of building out teams, how I communicate. Everything comes from a grassroots place,
You're both very heavily involved in the business, but you're also a founder. Like you have an outward person, like you're forward facing, you're the face of the brand, you're on Instagram. Is that a comfortable place for you, or is this sort of like a price of doing business?
The first time I ever spoke to camera was once COVID happened. So, when I launched the brand, I always planned to be an external facing founder in the context of podcasts and interviews and articles and panels. And I love that. And honestly, my favorite thing to do is like speak at colleges, because I really do love mentoring young people and getting them excited and finding that work ethic and finding out how, because it can feel overwhelming. But, I had no plans to be an influencer. Like I liked the inside of it. Like I liked having budgets to pay influencers to do stuff and seeing how things performed. I never thought that I would
enjoy both sides just as much. It doesn't seem like this is like you thrive in both areas.
I think it is a reality now, like all of the women I'm talking about and all of the people that I look up to, even people I haven't mentioned, but like founders that I really admire, like Carissa from Hourglass and Vicky from Tatcha. Those are, Hourglass is 20 years old. Tatcha's got to be 15, something like that. Like they didn't have to do this. You know what I mean? Like this just wasn't part of the deal. And if they started brands 5 years ago, then it's just part of it. I do enjoy it because I like connecting with people. I much prefer connecting with people in person. Like I'd rather go to coffee with people and like get into it. I think like the special stuff is like I think it is actually impossible to translate exactly who you are into a digital format. And it's not in my second nature to capture it. So I've had to learn, and I'm grateful for it, especially with TikTok. I at first was like, I have rules. I'm not singing. I'm not lip syncing. I'm not dancing. Like I can't do this, but you just try and figure out what works for you.
Yeah.
And it's definitely forced me to be less precious. And I've met so many amazing people through these platforms that live somewhere that isn't New York and didn't have a decade of being in the city and doing that. So I don't know. My thing is like, you can't be nostalgic. You just have to try stuff. And I'm excited for the day where I don't have to do it, but when I transcend all of this, but I like, just to be totally honest, like if I wanted to be an influencer, I would have done it 10 years ago, But it's part of the gig now, and you just got to like make the most of it. Do you like doing it? What's your vibe on it?
I'm not an influencer. Like I'm not, I feel like I do the
Yeah.
show and like occasionally I'm on social, but I'm by no means like outfit of the day,
Yeah. The work is still the work. The work is the work. And then I just think this is all halo. I will say I love Substack. Like that has been a newer. I know it's been around for a while. Like that's been beautiful. And I love spending time on that. The truth is, I wrote a Substack about this. There's a show called English Teacher on
Oh, everyone
Hulu.
loves it. My friend keeps on trying to get me to watch. I know. Yeah.
It's actually really good.
No,
Okay,
I heard
so
it's
my
great.
husband,
I heard it's great.
it's really good. My husband's like a big FX guy. Like he listens to Grantland. So we watched it the day it came out. And like when I say no one watched it, whenever we watched it like a year ago, like I
Yeah.
had no one to talk to about it. It's an amazing show. 6 months ago, the lead of the show started lip syncing and dancing to a song on TikTok that had nothing to do with the show. It was like Kirk from Gilmore Girls. It was like, what's that supposed to? It was like this meme. He basically made a meme and he memified himself. And then all of a sudden, like the show is one of the highest, most watched shows. And it was this like light bulb moment for me as like a holier than thou founder that's like, it's all about the work. But it's like the reality of today is like, you do need to figure out the internet because it shines a light on the work. I'm sure that the creator of that show would be very upset if the work was just the meme. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think the balance right now, if there's any founders listening, it's like, you got to dip a toe if you can and you're open to it. Know that the work is still the work and it is just a top of funnel way to show light on the deeper work.
This is a really old example. I'm saying really old. It's like 5 years ago. I'm like, it's the oldest example. But I always think about that ocean spray guy and Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, yes.
Or like, this is, okay, this is like not.
On the skateboard.
Yeah. And like,
yes.
I don't even know how much more money they made from that. But like, they don't need any more money. I mean, I guess that's a philosophical question. But like, that generate a whole new generation of people.
Yes.
Right? But there's so many things like that.
So many things like that. And here's the thing. I still want to make excellent things that speaks to a very specific type of woman and person. I don't have a brand that's made for that type of person. You know what I mean? There's like a million different ways to do this. And I'm very much about the work, but like you can have fun and you can play and you can be whimsical. And to me, I'm always like, it's what's between the ears that really matters. And I think we're finding people who like Crown Affair who are down for like the fun, playful thing that doesn't have to do with hair, but I don't know. It's something we're all navigating in real time.
I love your brand. I know we need to talk. I feel like we need to talk a little bit more about products because we're talking big ideas, big ideas, TikTok and English teacher, right? You want to keep on calling it the English patient. Okay, the English teacher. Okay, can I just shout out a couple of things that I love and then I want to hear just other products that you love. And you can include some of your own too. And then we have to do Fat Mascara 5 because we could be gabbing all day. Okay. I know this isn't your formula, but your clips, your hair clips. The best hair clips. Okay, I need 15 more because they're all around my house. They have the best grip. You know, I think you guys may have known that I was really into the J. Crew hair clips for like that because I did a razor wand to them like years ago. Okay, the J. Crew hair clips they're stepping aside to make way in the collection for the Crown Affair hair clips. The quality is great. The tension, it's the perfect amount of tension. And the gloss, the finish, they're so luxurious. And what's the price point on this, Dianna?
It's for two. I think it's, don't quote me. I know. They're each like 20. I'm like,
she doesn't even know.
I should. Let's see. They're 50. I think they're 54. In all fairness, I have dyscalculia, so don't ever quote me on any price that I ever do.
She doesn't work the booth anymore.
I'm like, is it 45 or 54? I don't know. I'm so dyslexic. No, they're handmade and first of all, I love you for saying this. And by the way, the J. Crew hair clip was an iconic hair clip.
It was such a good hair clip, but it's, we can share space in the four.
We can share space.
And then the hair towels. I know you work so hard on the formulas, but I'm talking about the accessories.
No. By the way, we really started with tools. We had one formula when we launched, and my entire mission with the tools was to take the tools that I loved, the brush or the towel, and make them better. The truth is like every little thing in these clips, just improving upon them in the smallest of ways. And it goes back to what I was saying. It's like, I think that we all deserve to be presented with the most elegant solution.
Very elegant. Yeah.
And that's where the time comes. It's like, we're taking the time to like formulate or design. Even the hair towel, it's like we have a patent on that. Like that's crazy. That was like the first thing I worked on was filing a patent on that hair towel.
So they're so good. And then also the shampoo is great. And then the dry shampoo is I don't like to give stats out because I don't like other brands to freak out and get upset at Moda, but it is one of our top 5 SKUs, hair SKUs at Moda. And it is one of our top 10 SKUs at Moda. It's awesome.
Wow.
Love it. All the Moda girlies love it. All the fashion girlies love it. You know, they're hard to please.
They are, because it is truly a top shelf dry shampoo. It's not something that you like hide away under your cabinet, but it's that formula I'm so proud of. And it's funny, I went to a workout class the other day and I ran into a girl I knew, and she was with a friend, and she was like, "Oh my God, your dry shampoo." And I'm always like, "How did you find out about it?" She found out about it through Moda.
Oh, awesome.
So she bought it on Moda.
Thanks. Give us some of the products you're loving right now, like in your kit, in your bag. And then we're going to hit the Fat Mascara 5 because I've been talking so long.
No. I'm obsessed with it. I mean, on the Crown Affair side, I'm obsessed with our leave-in conditioner because it's so lightweight and so moisturizing. And I also love our air dry mousse, our texturizing air dry mousse.
I put the leave-in on my daughter.
By the way, people use Crown Affair on their kids. That's the whole thing too. It's like, it's actually not going to hurt. It's like, that's where the clean piece comes in. It's like the quality is so good that like use it on your kids, use it on whoever. It's like, it's not this harsh thing. People use the gel. I mean, the gel is unbelievable. To me, it's like all of these things are a daily touch point. It is take your time and have it be a beautiful ritual, but the subtext is take your time back. Because probably a lot of the reason that the fashion girlies love it is because they're like, I have this blowout. When I say you can actually go a whole week, like if you use I always say with dry shampoo, it's like imagine spraying aerosol dry shampoo on your face and not washing it for like 4 days. Like you're doing that to your scalp. And the way that we formulated this, it's so finely milled. I went on the hunt. I have a whole story of like formulating this product, but like that's the whole thing too. I want it to feel like a magic trick. Like I was really intentional about not being a brand that leads with #science. It's like, of course, there's so much science in this. Like these are, like we work with unbelievable chemists and we're so intentional and critical, but I didn't want to be like, it's a molecule that like will I'm just like not into that. And by the way, no shade. I love they're great brands with they're great products and solution oriented products, I should say. But I had such a vision around creating this brand universe with my creative director, and I want everything to feel like, oh, it is better, but I don't know what, that's when you reveal how a magic trick is done, you lose the sense of awe. And I want people to have the awe with this experience.
Can you give us just one product you love, like something in your bag that you're loving?
I mean, I like Orbe Dry Texturizing Spray is like my favorite non-Crown Affair product of all time. And I have like multiples in multiple bags, but outside of hair care?
Yeah.
I feel like the Patrick Ta blushes are amazing. I should have put more on as I'm looking, but that's one that I love. And then like the Westman brushes, like all the brushes from Westman Atelier are so good. I know I sound like a weirdo, but I'm a big believer in tools. I also really like Say Glossy Bounce. This is probably my favorite lip. That is a color. Otherwise, it's U Beauty. But it's so funny. U Beauty. But can I tell you something funny? The awards ceremony that you hosted for CEW, which you did an amazing job, by the way. I was seated next to the Aquaphor table, and I literally pulled out like 4 of these.
That's
and they
funny.
were very excited.
Oh.
So this is also amazing.
Oh, awesome.
I don't know. That was a lot of answers. I love
it's
product,
good. No, that's really good. We love a lot of product. Okay. Lightning round, Fat Mascara 5. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. First beauty product you fell in love with.
Honestly, like the Biolage hair mask was the first one.
That is fancy. That is fancier than I expected. Okay. Because I think of like a young person,
I didn't put on makeup till college, if that gives you the type of person I was. Except for prom, I literally didn't wear makeup till college. I was a hair and like body person. Yeah.
Okay. Favorite indulgent snack?
I really like farmer's market radishes with a little bit of butter and salt.
That's a new one. All right, this one's for us. What's your favorite Jim Henson movie?
Oh, I love you so much. I mean, it's gotta be The Dark Crystal.
It's good.
But I just love anything like Kermit and Piggy and Frank Oz. I love Miss Piggy. I'm sure you've seen her roasting Martha Stewart.
Yes.
Like I just am obsessed with anything Miss Piggy as a kid. Yeah, The Dark Crystal, 1982, iconic.
I thought of you because I went to the Muppets. I was at Disney a couple weeks ago, and there's a big like Muppets, not ride, but a Muppets live action show with 3D glasses.
It's the old one, right?
I mean, it's first for me. It looks like it's been there for a while. I don't know.
Okay, they're like petitioning to take it down, and there's actually like a petition that I signed with Muppets. There's like,
Oh yeah,
trying
they're
to
taking
get
a bunch
rid
of things
it.
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't look
They're
new.
trying to get rid of it, but it's
Jerks.
disrespectful to Jim Henson. If anyone out there, if the Venn diagram between people who work at Disney and listen to this podcast, please keep this. I'll pull
Yeah,
an
they have
Ariana
like
Grande.
Kermit's tux.
Ugh,
Yeah. I'll send you a
so
picture.
good.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
The best.
Yeah, we were so happy.
What's I know this is like going against the rules, but can you share your favorite Jim Henson film?
I mean, I love Muppets Take Manhattan.
Ugh,
Dark Crystal, it's something like that my brother and I share.
yeah.
When I was younger, like it was like a little spooky, but I love it.
I feel like you're a Labyrinth girl.
But like I was about to say, but I feel like I don't look at that as like a true Jim Henson film. It feels like it's in a class of its own. But
it is.
Labyrinth's also very personal. But I don't really think of it's not like a Muppets film.
Totally. It's a different world.
It's like in its own universe. But yeah, Labyrinth. I feel very passionate about Sarah. Yeah. So anyway, moving along.
A muse. I feel passionate about Kira.
Yeah,
from the Dark Crystal.
yeah. I feel like Sarah is my muse. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was like quick answers only. Meanwhile, I was like, make it snappy. All right, it's 12 noon on a Saturday. What are you doing?
Pilates and farmers market and hanging with my husband. If that could be all happening at the same time. He doesn't go to Pilates, but you know what I mean.
That's sweet.
What are you doing?
What am I doing? I'm at like
At 12 noon on a Saturday.
my daughter's at art class and I'm waiting outside. And we're getting ready for our third activity after that. So yeah, there's no Pilates or farmers market. I don't know.
I'm living a pre-child life, by the way. As you listen to this podcast, I realize it's like, it changes. Like having morning rituals, like doing this stuff, I'm very aware. So
There's no ritual. Okay.
That's why I'm like, if you don't have time to wash your hair, use the dry shampoo.
I like take your time. I'm like, that's cute.
But we're going to take it back.
Yeah, take it back. And then last, okay, your notes app. What is the last note in your notes app? And you can't lie.
Okay, I won't lie. So I have 3 saved at the top, which is my daily meditations, my daily self-care check-in, and my tracking health every month. I kind of just, so those live at the top. And a grocery list, but that's not an exciting one.
No.
It's notes. Well, this one is less exciting, but I take notes when I watch films. Like I always have notes. So I was watching the SNL documentary and they were talking about microscopic breaks. I take notes. It's a ton of different notes. And then Artist Way. I'm doing an Artist Way chat right now.
Oh,
so
yeah. I saw that on your Instagram.
Yeah. So Artist Way learnings, I have chapter by chapter and quotes, and then I drop them into the Substack chat. So I use notes all the time.
It's so dense. Do you voice text it? Like, do you voice text or do you use your thumbs? Because that's a lot to write on your phone.
I use the notes app on my laptop. So I'm constantly doing notes on my computer. And then I go between my phone, my computer, and then I do voice to text. I voice to text for Instagram captions because I'm such like I word vomit. Like it's the second that it's like blinking cursor and it's my thumbs, I'm like, ugh. Where then instead I just voice to text and I'm like, blah, 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 and then I edit.
Wow.
What do you do?
I voice text a lot, but then I see people looking and laughing. Crazy.
Voice to text is a huge unlock. It's a pretty magical thing. By the way, I'm a chaotic, not organized person. So like my desktop is filled with screenshots. Like my notes app, it's literally like a Kugel recipe next to like supplement notes, next to like, I know. It's a mix. I have no organization and I have high ambitions to like go back and clean it, but she never does.
In the next life.
Yes.
Very cool. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, Dianna. Great chat. Send me the Muppets petition. That's the one thing I can accomplish today.
Thank you for having me.
We hope you enjoyed the show. It's your reviews and feedback that help us make the podcast even better. Head over to iTunes to rate and review us or email your thoughts to info@fatmascara.com.
We also want to answer your beauty questions and hear what products you love. To share a Raise the One product review or to ask a beauty question, email us at info@fatmascara.
If you send it as a voice memo file, we can even share your voice on the podcast. You can also do that by leaving us a voice message. Our phone number in the United States is 646-481-8182.
Thanks so much for listening.